Hey guys, Dr. Teddy Wilsey here. I'm going to take you through a meathead yoga or mobility routine. And I like to call this meathead yoga because it's my own approach to gaining mobility. And you can use these either in a warm-up or as a recovery workout. For today, I'm going to use this as a recovery workout. The first thing we're going to do is focus on the low back. And so I'm going to start by rocking into full extension and then flexion. And we're going to do this 10 times. You should be able to increase the range of motion as you continue to work through this. Don't try to get all of that range of motion on the first rep or two, and just kind of slowly work into it. So once you've done those 10 times, the next thing we're going to do is a modified greatest stretch alive. So I'm just going to stay on both knees here, drive one foot up. I want to try to get my foot level to my hand and rock in. So I'm kind of rocking out and then rocking back in. We're going to do 3 of these on each side. Then we're going to switch legs. Same thing here, we're just rocking out and rocking in. Once we get 3 of those on each side, we're going to switch back. Do that same original motion and add rotations to both sides. We're going to rotate 3 on each side. Switch to the other side, same thing. Rotate. One thing to focus on with those rotations is not shifting your hips. So let me show you what that looks like. If I rotate here, but I shift my hips all the way away from the direction that I'm rotating, I get much less total rotation. So we want to try to keep those hips in line and rotate directly from the same spot without shifting. So we've worked into some flexion and extension of the lower back. We're also doing some rotation. The next thing we're going to do is start to stretch the hips a little bit, as our glutes play a big role in low back tightness. So we'll come back to this original position. And you saw me start to get up into a push-up position. We can also do it from there, but just because this is a recovery day, we're kind of making the starting positions a little bit easier. So from here, just get one leg up. So I'm in kind of a pigeon position here. Come down to the elbows. We're gonna hold this for about 5 to 10 seconds. Then we're gonna come up, and this is my horrible version of a pigeon stretch. And then we're gonna switch sides, same thing here. So let's come down first. And I just hope nobody that's watching this does yoga, because they'll be shaking their head, but that's all right. And then we'll come up. So we're holding each one of those poses for about 10 seconds. It's 20 seconds per side. And let's roll through that 3 times on each side. So I'm just gonna go for it again here. Down for 10. Up for 10. Switch sides. Down for 10. And up for 10. And again, we're doing that a 3rd time on each side. So that concludes the low back portion of this recovery or warm-up workout. And the next thing we're gonna do is work on our upper back or our T-spine. This next movement is a cat camel, and we've gone over that for the lower back, but this time what we're gonna do is really focus on the upper back. And so what we're gonna try to do is get scapular motion in and out of flexion and extension. So if you watch here, this would be the more normal low back movement. And on that, I'm trying to get a lot of movement from my hips, my pelvis, and my lower back. For this one, we're purely focusing on shoulder and scapular motion. So we're gonna do 10 of these upper body cat camels. I'm pulling my shoulder blades back, and then I'm pushing them away. The next thing I'm gonna do is come down and create a box with my arms and my elbows. So it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna come down, create this box here, and then reach as high as I can, and then finish the box. So I'm finishing down here, reach up high, come back down. Now again, that same thing that we talked about with the shifting on the last rotational movement applies to this. So I don't want to see you come all the way over there. I want to see you try to stay directly over top of your shoulders. Reach and rotate. So let's pretend we did 10 of those, and we'll switch to the other side here. As you might be able to see, I'm limited on my left side. So as you're doing these, you can kind of learn something about yourself and figure out what motions you need to really hit to get properly warmed up. You might have a restriction on one side or the other. Hopefully you can learn that through this and then improve it. Now the third thing we're gonna do for the upper body portion of this is another lateral kind of bend or reach. So you're gonna reach as far as you can to the side and then creep on through with the other arm. Then reach back, creep through, reach back. And when I creep through here, I can also kind of hold that. So watch, I'll show you on this side. So if I reach all the way to the side, then reach through and just hold that for a few seconds and reach back. So we're gonna do about 10 of those on each side as well. And the way I would program these to try to make this into a 30 or 45-minute piece would be to go through each of the low back ones that we did 3 times, and then go through each of the upper back or T-spine ones that we did 3 times. And the third section that I'm gonna show you is for overall body mobility. We're gonna go through 3 more movements. So now comes our full body rotation and our full body warm up here. So we're gonna start by standing. This is old school gym class stuff. So we're gonna start by standing feet hip width apart, and we're just doing hip circles. So what you wanna try to do is get all the way outside to your right hip, push your hips through, all the way to the left side, and back to center. And then we're gonna do that opposite. And this is one of those ones that you can start to get more motion as you kind of work through. And hopefully all you guys look as cool as I do doing this. So once we get 5 hip circles each direction, or 10 total, we're gonna do trunk circles, same thing. Get a good hamstring stretch there, come back up. So we're doing 10 trunk circles on each side. Once we did 10 trunk circles, we're gonna start to work into a little lunge stretch here. So we're gonna lunge forward and rotate, and then switch sides. Lunge forward and rotate. We have 3 rotations on each side. After that, we have 3 overhead reaches on each side. I want you to get your spine as long as possible. It's not just about rocking back. The more important factor is elongating your spine and your trunk. Reach towards the ceiling, don't reach behind you. So we're doing 3 of these on each side. Now that you've figured out that trick about reaching towards the ceiling, we're gonna use that with a little side bend. So you're gonna reach towards the ceiling and then side bend. Feel a stretch through your obliques here. Reach and side bend. So we're gonna go through each of those lunges 3 times. So this concludes my version of meathead yoga or mobility. And what I want you to do is run through each of those 3 times. That should comprise about a 30 to 45 minute piece. Happy stretching. Thanks for watching.